Hello, everyone. So let me share my screen first. So I hope you can see my screen now. My presentation is about comparisons of undergraduate experience between first-year stop-outs and persisting students. Stopouts are defined as those who left UC after the first year, and the persisting students are those who continue to enroll at the camps after the first year. So I also poured some quotes from the UC Stopout survey about the reasons students left UC. Students left because they did not feel they belonged at their camps. They worked part-time. They were too poor to do anything else. They had financial difficulties. Their advisors were very unhelpful. They experienced depression and so on. So for this presentation, I specifically looked at two questions. Is there any significant difference in student experience between the first year stopout and the persisting students? How much can student experience predict the first year persistence? I use the UCUES data for this analysis. So UCUES is a very comprehensive survey covering many areas about students' college experience. I only looked at 6 topics. Their academic satisfaction, academic engagement, belonging, financial concerns, perception on campus climate, and paid employment. So this slide shows how I selected population and a sample for this study. So my sample includes UCUES respondents who started as a freshman in fall 2017 and fall 2019. So among them, 96.3% persisted in the following year and 3.7% stopped out. I also want to point out that UCUES respondents were more likely to persist after the first year than non-residents, non-respondents were. So now let's take a look at the analysis and results. So I created 6 factors, as I mentioned earlier. So they were constructed based on several UCUES items. So my slides show several things. The items included in each factor, the method I used to calculate the total score, the Cronbach's coefficient alpha for internal consistency check, the distribution of each factor for stopouts and persisting students separately, and also t-test statistics to compare student experience between stopouts and persisting students. Due to my limited time, I would like to just highlight the t-test results to answer my first question. So on this slide, we can see persisting students' average score on the sense on the academic satisfaction factor is 16 compared to 14 for stopouts. The difference is statistically significant, which means persisting students are significantly more satisfied with their academic experience. This slide shows statistics for sense of belonging. Persisting students' average score on the sense of belonging factor is 23, and the Stopouts average is 20. Again, the difference is statistically significant, which means persisting students are significantly more likely to feel that they belong at their camps. So this slide shows the analysis on perception of campus climate. Persisting students' average score on this factor is 63 compared to 61 for Stopouts. Again, the difference is statistically significant, which means persisting students are significantly more likely to perceive the campus climate positive. So this slide shows the analysis on the academic engagement factor. So the average score for persisting students is 29 compared to 28 for Stopouts. The difference is statistically significant, which means the persisting students are significantly more engaged in academic activities. So this slide shows that persisting students on average spend 3.27 hours per week on paid employment compared to about 5 hours for Stopouts. The difference is significant. So this slide shows analysis on students' financial concerns. As we can see, persisting students' average score on this factor is 12 compared to 13.3 for Stopouts. So the analysis shows that Stopouts are more concerned about their financial situation. So to answer my second question, I developed some logistic regression models. These graphs show predictive probabilities for persistence by each experience factor, one for each campus. The belonging factor is the strongest predictor. At most campuses, less than 80% of those who did not feel they belonged at the campus persisted in the second year, compared to almost 100% for those who felt they belonged at the campus. So the second strongest predictor is paid employment hours. Students who spend too much time working on a paid job were much less likely to persist after the first year. The third strongest predictor is satisfaction with the academic experience. The predictive power of a campus climate, academic engagement, and financial concerns are not as strong as the first three I just talked about, but they are all significant predictors. I want to point out that the predictive power of these factors vary across campuses, which which means college experience may have a different influence on persistence of students at different campuses. The graphs on On this slide shows predicted probabilities for persistence by 6 factors for each racial and ethnic group. Again, all 6 factors are strong predictors, and a sense of belonging, paid employment hours, and a level of satisfaction are the strongest among them. Again, I would like to point out that the predictive power of these factors for persistence vary across racial and ethnic groups, which means college experience may have different influence on students' decision on persistence in terms of student racial ethnic background. So this slide shows predicted probabilities for persistence by top 6 single items at each campus. So based on slope of trend lines, at most campuses, top 6 single items are hours spent on paid employment, off campus, sense of belonging. Knowing what I know now, I would still like to choose to enroll at this camps. I'm proud to be a student at this camps. My camps is a welcoming camps, satisfaction with overall academic experience. To sum up my presentation, so there is a significant difference in the first year experience between stopouts and the persisting students. Student experience is a strong predictor for persistence. So next steps for campuses to do maybe like fostering a sense of belonging on campus, changing campus climate so everyone feels deeply welcomed, inclusive, and respected. Helping students solve financial problems so they can focus on study, inspiring student engagement, and satisfying their academic needs and interests. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Bye-bye.